a second. I saw that. Interesting. Let's see, is that back up? All right, awesome. Let me. All right, we're gonna go straight in because no, we actually no. We'll run the intro. That's fine. Gives people a chance. Hey everybody, welcome to another special report here on Tabletop Misfits. Today we have John here as seems to be just launched his newest Kickstarter or backer kit, and we're going to talk about it. Now, for those that have been around for a minute, everybody knows I love Shadowdark, so this was huge for me to hear about. And a good friend of mine sent him my way, and we want to know all about all the cool stuff that's happening in this new story. So I'm going to kind of hand this over to him. He's just going to break down what this project is all about. So John, I'm going to let you kind of take the lead on this.
Very cool, man. Listen, I want to say thank you so much for having me. I'm really stoked to be here. This Dark Double feature, it is 2 different adventures for one killer system, Shadowdark RPG. It honestly became my house system the second I cracked that cover. I've been playing D&D for most of my life. I'm playing DCC. But the minute I got Shadowdark in my hands, I definitely was moved by how smooth and streamlined and clean it is to play. And these are 2 dark adventures. Of a Harmonious Nature is folk horror and religious horror. Nothing Left to Lose is, if you can imagine, Saw, but in H.H. Holmes' Murder Castle. So
that sounds terrible.
It's nasty. It's a dungeon crawl. It's a straight up dungeon. Nothing Left to Lose is about a town that keeps cycling through gods and deities.
Okay.
They can't find one that they feel answers their prayers in a timely enough manner. That they wanted to do, and that has left them susceptible to influence from an evil being trying to ascend to become a god named Praster Vem, and has turned the town into a giant cult, and is really destroying the things that makes the town what it is. And then Nothing Left to Lose, we're actually going to open it up to 3 to 4 different ways to start the adventure.
Oh, nice.
Because, I'm a person who believes a dungeon should have multiple ways in and multiple ways out. So it's not just like, well, you have to start here. There's different ways depending on how you want to start the story to where you're going to be able to start the story. Conceptually, what I wanted to do with it was create a scenario where you wake up in the dungeon and you're chained to the ground and all your gear, you're wearing your armor, but all your gear is in front of you. And you have to make some quick decisions to bust out to get your gear before monsters come out of the shadows. And there's a mystery to how you got there. You're going to figure it out as you went in. But since a lot of people don't enjoy the starting off trap thing, there is going to be the other side of the story where you go looking for your buddy who disappeared, who ended up in the dungeon.
Okay.
Find them as you go in through a different entrance to the dungeon. Another version where you know what this dungeon's all about, and you're going after the guy who is running the dungeon, who is, for all intents and purposes, like Arcade in the X-Men. He gets paid to try out different monsters and different kind of traps for people to put in their dungeons.
Okay.
So now you're going in there with a few different ways to approach the start to the adventure. But ultimately, once you get in there, you realize you're in deep trouble, and you got to find a way to survive it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like a day in the park, if you would.
Definitely not. And the one thing I often try to do as well is, I wrote these adventures with Levi Combs from Planet X Games, one of my dearest friends and a mentor to me. I try to write these things in mind that maybe this is not the end when you finish this adventure. Maybe there's some threads and some things that are left over where you're going to want to continue. But now it's up to you. As the person running these games, are going to take this team to a whole new world based off of something that you found in here. Like maybe you found an altar in the dungeon that was stolen from somewhere that now has cursed you. And because you've been cursed from the bat god, you are getting attacked every time you come in contact with bats. And the way to break the curse is you have to return the altar back to the island that it came from, or something like that. Always like little things like that aren't necessarily side quests in the moment,
right?
They have consequences for you down the line if you don't take them on once you wrap this up.
Absolutely. You don't want to just leave things lingering, right? Like there's danger with that. But it's also an amazing opportunity for them to create more stories in the background afterwards. Because if, let's say they do leave something lingering, now we have a whole new story to play with.
Yeah.
So, for those that are tuning in, we're going over John's brand new back kit. Just got launched here in April, the end of April. Looks like it's going to be closing out here probably in the next weeks.
May
22nd, and we're just kind of getting the lowdown of what it is that's happening in this back kit. One of the cool things about special reports is we focus strictly on the project. A lot of times we bounce around heavily with a normal tavern talks, but this we're going to focus directly in. So what were some, other than maybe Saw, which you've already mentioned, what are some other things that really inspired you to create something like this?
So, two different styles of inspiration for games. So the first one, say, of a harmonious nature, movies like Midsummer.
Okay.
And, The Omen. Things like that where the horror is bigger than just something you need to punch. But obviously, because it's a dice game, you need something to punch.
Right.
So, but it's more conceptually that people are willing to give up whatever they believe for something that they believe in, for something they perceive is going to be better at every given turn. And we've watched this throughout our entire lives. People we know, people that we've encountered, where you're like, wow, like exactly what you believe in and what you want to do, but now you're like, oh well, this is better. I'm going to try this. And instead of doing the work and looking inward, you're going to adopt a brand new god, and that doesn't always work out too great for you.
Right. Absolutely.
And also, the groupthink that comes with places where people don't think for themselves, and they'll end up kind of falling in with the fear that is put upon them by others, and become susceptible to that, and how easily it could turn a town and turn the people who are are now getting sucked up into this. People who normally would be like, no, I would never do that. That's a crazy person who does that. And suddenly you're the crazy person,
right? Am I the crazy? I guess I am.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And now when you're going into this town, you're dealing with it. You're trying to remember you're not dealing with people who are thinking rationally. These aren't bugbears. They're not
right
cubes and monsters in dungeon. This is your neighbor Tom, who now you're trying not to kill, even though Tom's trying to kill you actively. And also you're dealing with a world in which the more people believe in this deity called Prasterfam, the more people believe in this idea, the idea gets more powerful.
Okay.
So as you're going and you're doing things in the town, you may do things that contradict the belief, and you may do things like, say, you desecrate an altar or like a display to Prasterfam.
Right.
You're going to get a bad omen, and that's even though you are doing the right thing against this town and this area and this new person trying to ascend to godhood. You're the bad guy. And now you're getting a bad omen. Now, the way we do bad omens is something that we created for of a harmonious nature. The more bad omens you incur, the stronger Prasterfam gets at the end. So a badass baseline, badass, but not impossible to defeat Prasterfam. However, you deface something, that's a bad omen.
Yeah.
And you say if you kill a townsfolk or kill one of his cultists, that's 3 bad omens.
Yeah.
And it stacks, and as it stacks, it unlocks more like resistance to fire, plus X amount of hit points, rolls at advantage, resistance to this. So he becomes more like a god the more you feed into it through these bad omens. And then not to mention, not to mention that like you can get rid of these bad omens, but once you get a bad omen, not only does it juice him up, like your next save or attack will be at disadvantage for the first one you do. And then after that, it'll stack to the point where if you get 3 bad omens for yourself, you're unlucky. So anyone who is near you in near range rolls at disadvantage because now your luck is like it's distracting them with your bad luck.
Right.
And and Nothing Left to Lose. It's about a misconception about freedom, right?
Okay.
And the old Janis Joplin song, "Freedom's just another word, nothing left to lose." Me and Bobby McGee. It's the conception that what you think is freedom is another cage, and so the person who is running the dungeon lets you know, "Hey, you're free to go. Sorry about that," And then
my bad.
Yeah, but then you're like, "Oh shit! Now I have to fight my way out of this dungeon," and because of that, you're free, but there's a lot more work that you need to do to truly be free.
Right.
And then do you just go to be free, or do you fight back against your oppressor? Do you try to find this in this crazy death trap dungeon?
Right. You hunt him down now that since you're in here anyways, or do you just run away? Right. So that's awesome, and definitely gives a lot of opportunity to play this in so many different ways, which is something I really have liked. So one of the things about Shadowdark that I personally like, and I like I said, without seeing the book completely, I'm not sure, is random tables. For some reason, Shadowdark just does it right. I love it. We do it with Shadowdark stuff. We do it with Dark Space. What are some cool random tables that you put into this book that you can't share? I don't want to share. I don't want to lose everything.
So in the main book, the random tables. I mean, obviously we have a monster random table.
Yeah.
Once the freaks come out at night and it gets dark, there's monsters. The random tables that we have in the main book, which I'd say is of a harmonious nature, really does pertain to like things that are happening around you, rumors, and not so much that like, oh well, if you do this then this happens. It's like, hey, this is going on here. This is something you might want to be aware of or something to consider, something that may change the course of the adventure should you decide to pursue that line of like, okay, I see this is in Nothing Left to Lose, it's more environmental, which is one of those things where I think that in a lot of times in dungeons especially, people don't ever describe how they smell.
Right.
They don't describe obviously the sight aspect of it is going to be different because you're really reliant on that torch.
Right.
Like, what do you hear? What does the air feel like against your skin? What's that smell? Like the other senses, we're trying to bring a sense of like, in certain areas, what does the area feel like to your perceptions versus just, it's a dark room.
Absolutely. No, 100%.
Also, charts where like when you find stuff, obviously, there's going to be item charts. There's going to be charts for like how bad some of the traps are going to be, and what the effect of the trap will be. So it's not just like, oh, I found a poison dart trap. Well, okay, I found a poison dart trap, but it's not just straight poison. What does the poison do?
Right.
And so now you roll on like a D10, being like, now it's making you sweat, which is going to cause this, or it's making skin's on fire, which is going to cause that. It's going to it's not just straight up poisoning you, because I think like as much as I ran the game last night for at a convention, and they set off a trap that released russet mold, and everyone got poisoned.
Right.
And poison messes you up.
Oh yeah.
But I think that there's another side of it. I think that's cool to explore too, where it's not just poison messing up your hit points. It's poison and how it messes up your other,
other senses,
other senses and things that you're doing in the dungeon.
Okay.
Where like, yeah, sure, dying from hit points is bad, but like, what about suffering? What about like, you're suddenly like now you are even instead of being like reduction to like fire damage. What if you become more conducive to fire damage?
Okay.
And things like that, where it's like you're like, all right, it's bad, and you don't know why it's bad, but like suddenly like you get in the water, your skin starts absorbing the water, and like your body gets heavier, and you start to sink. Things like that. Like we're still finalizing some stuff in there, but like things like, well, you probably would have wished it was just straight poison.
Right. You're like, man, it'd be so much easier if I wasn't having to deal with this. No, that's awesome. And I really do. For some reason, like I said, it's one of those things where I'm really excited to see. And it's why I pick up so many Shadowdark books, because the tables are so easy to blend and mix and shift. And what I'm really excited about, especially now that you told me, is the environment. Because I think it's a concept that isn't used often, but when it's used, it very much has a very potent use for it. And I think it's because it's not used often. But it's also a lot to track, right? Like if you're tracking the environment every single time you're moving, like that's a lot for a game master to keep up with.
Yeah, and then that's the balance. That's the thing where you're like, it's, you can try to. Not every room is going to be the same, but I think like when you look at different areas in the dungeon, like generally like 3 or 4 rooms, they feel like they go together.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of more what I'm saying here. Like, you're tracking the environment, like, room A through D is this, but then you get to like room E and things start to feel a little bit different, but you don't know why, but here's how it feels.
Right.
I'm also trying to use a lot of more the standard monsters that came in the Shadowdark, book. And also like classic like D&D style monsters, because I think that there's so much to be said for the original lineup, of those monsters that like people immediately I think tried to pivot from using those types of monsters. It's cool, man. Like however you want to play your game is totally cool, but I often think and I feel like people pivot from those monsters a little too soon.
Right.
So like this kind of gives you like the thing that they become unexpected now, because you're just like, oh, it's a giant crab, and you should always be like the proper response should be, oh crap, it's a giant crab.
Right. Like let's not do that. But yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And like you said, I do like that idea that you're like, I'm not diving into anything like super off the wall, right? Like you're trying to bring back some of these creatures that are just creatures. And I really like the idea, because what you're doing then is that you're not offering new in a way that everybody sees new. You're offering something different, which I think that'd be better.
Like some of my favorite modules, like White Plume Mountain.
Okay.
Like I think about the creatures that you find in there.
Yeah.
And they're classic. They're iconic for a reason.
Right.
And like to me, like a giant crab, obviously. But it's one of those things where I'm trying to build with Levi a cohesive dungeon experience, but also have that kind of manicness that comes from like anything could still happen.
Absolutely.
And also trying to find a way where ecologically there are reasons why these things are there. So it's not just slapdash, just throwing in, monsters just for the sake of throwing in monsters. So, for us, the design talk and the caveat that we have with Nothing Left to Lose is that with the guy being, and that's the only thing we haven't settled on yet, is the guy's name. That's like the hardest part of this. Like, what's his jerky guy's name?
Oh, of course.
But the guy being that, he's a sadist. He loves torturing people, but his torture comes from like watching people suffer and lose hope. And so his job is to find ways to do that, where people will come and be like, hey, I want to build a dungeon like this. How does this work? What is this like? And then He's taking notes. He's figuring it out. They provide the monsters. He puts them in a dungeon.
Right.
And so that's, nothing left to lose because, it's nothing if you're not free. And in your mind, you're like, I'm free, but like, at what cost?
Right. Absolutely. And I think it's a really interesting thought process. It's like, there's this dude who, you come to him and you're like, hey, I got to build this dungeon for this reason. What should I put in? Like, kind of when those conversations you think about when you watch those types of movies, and you're like, okay, what is this man thinking when he comes up with this? Because it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And a human thought about that, which is why a lot of times we hear the biggest monsters are human. Like that's just how it works.
And that's it. It's right on the money. And that's why, like, when my cinematic way of entering the dungeon, because these are all for 3 to 5 level, third to fifth level characters.
Right. So they're mid-range characters in Shadowdark.
And you can do a lot with a 3rd to 5th level character if you're playing right and you're playing smart, I guess.
Right.
But you're walking to the tavern to join up with your adventuring party to start the adventure, and you just black out, and then you wake up, you're in this dungeon. You wake up in this dungeon with how many other people are playing that day, and everyone's a stranger. So he's taking people from different adventuring parties and just putting them in this and to see what happens. So like you're casting a spell to break out of the manacles. There's rocks all around. You're trying to smash out, while the torch on the wall is kind of fading, which you're going to roll a 1d4
see how many rounds
to see how many how many minutes in real time. So like 15, 30, 45 an hour. That torch does. And in the pile, all your weapons are there, but only 2 torches. So now it's going to put you to the test. But if you don't want to play it that way, another way is like your buddy never shows up. You hear pray tell about this guy. You go searching, and then you have to break into the dungeon. And try to find a way in and try to figure out, what happened to your pal.
That's awesome. No, that's a lot of fun. I think I did this without knowing I did this, but I will say I did it the wrong way because the first time I ever ran Shadowdark. But I killed 4 of my players like within the first game or first round. I was like, this is a lot more deadly than I thought it was going to be. Even though I played it a couple times, I never ran it.
Different experience when you're running it, man.
Right. Especially when you make them wake up in a graveyard and it's dark out, and then as they're lighting the torch, the skeletons are coming forward, and it's like, oh. And I didn't tell my party to kind of make sure you have certain things. So we had one priest, and the first thing he cast was the first time he tried to cast Cure Wounds, it failed, and he was like, what do I do then? Like, I can't cast anything else anymore. He was the only priest we had. So it was a real bad moment, but we learned.
That's what I love about it. Like, it's you blow it, you can't cast it again. Like, you're in a graveyard full of skeletons. Turn undead.
Well, that's what it was. He cast Turn Undead and it failed.
This is an undead adventure, and you're like, the credits just wrapped up. What am I doing?
What do we do? And I think that's the interesting part about Shadowdark is you can really you have two opportunities. You have the opportunity to just build a character and kind of see how they flesh themselves out. But then you also have that understanding in your head of like this might not be a long story for this character. Like something bad can literally happen as you go through the next door. And it's that deadly of a game.
Especially when the torches start getting low or they go out. What for the con and just in general, what I did was, I thought we had one in the house, but I guess we didn't anymore. But bought a button maker the other day, which I tell you, if you have any inclination, man, get a button maker for cheap. You make crazy buttons. I made buttons. My wife is a cartoonist, an illustrator. She's a comic book artist named Sally Canarino. She this just dropped out for Orla from Mad Cave to Trade.
Oh wow, look at that. Yeah,
she's pretty amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I happen to be married to her. She's an exceptional artist. But we got the button maker, and she had drawn a picture of my face for a book. So I took that picture and I put it on a button that says Death by Hambone, and then I had one that says I survived Hambone. So at the con, there was a second when I'm reaching in that bag, I'm like, oh, here comes 5 Death by Hambones, but they managed to pull it out. But there was a hot second where if the torch had become unlit, they were about to get swarmed by a bunch of cultists who were just standing there the whole time just watching, weren't going to do a damn thing, but that light goes out, it's on.
It's on, right? It's one thing I really liked. It challenges players to think a lot more methodically. It challenges them to utilize their skills and their items without just running in and hitting everything. And I really enjoyed that. And my players have too. I mean, we switched from D&D to at our home table to Shadowdark about almost a year and a half ago now. That's all we do. It's all we play now. Shadowdark.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I will love D&D to the day I die.
Absolutely.
And I'm not one to shit on 5e or anything like that. I know a lot of people have their issues with it, but for me, it's like, I'm for whatever got you to the table. And I know
absolutely
that. However, after playing for a while, you just get to a point where you're like, there's nothing that can kill you. It's very hard to get killed at 5e. Yeah. And not saying that like games should be so dangerous that you have to worry about it around every turn, but
there's no risk. There's no reward.
No reward, man. And that's the thing I appreciate about Shadowdark, where it was like, in ways where mechanically, it's very similar to, many other dice games, Dungeon and Dice games, but like it becomes more cinematic in the way that you're not just the Justice League, you're in over your head, that you're vulnerable, and now you have to make some tough decisions.
Absolutely.
Where if you make it out, you're like, oh wow, we earned that.
I think that is the biggest thing about it, right? Is that there's an actual feeling of I earned that win. I earned that opportunity, or that item, or that mission, or that goal. Like I mean, really, that's kind of where it is. That's one thing I was going to ask you about, though. So the traditional Shadowdark books are kind of give this very like heavy metal feel. I guess would be the best way to describe the way they look. And you've taken a little bit of a different approach to the way the characters look in the book and whatnot. What brought you to change that up?
For me, I always like to subvert expectations a little bit.
Okay.
I love the art that I've seen. I mean, like,
I love the art. Like, don't get me. I'm not saying it needs to change. I'm just saying it definitely does.
I saw Triskara just dropped a little while ago. The artwork in that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, I want people to feel like they get a different experience, from what they're getting when I create something. So, when Levi and I wrote this together, I mean, he left it to me to kind of go, what do you think about the art and stuff like that? And like, I got Sally, who in Of a Harmonious Nature, it's going to be a lot more like folk art,
and it looks very folk-like. Yeah. And even the intro like we have on the screen right now, where it's the elf kind of walking through with the torch in their hand, you can see that much almost. And I think part of it is, like you said, with your wife's background, is it's a little bit more cartoony than you've seen in.
That's actually Zach Giolongo.
Okay.
Those pieces Zach Giolongo. The cover of a Harmonious Nature, that's what Sally did.
Okay.
And it's going to be a lot more woodcut, a lot more like sinister looking, like more monstrous on the inside. And again, like it's going to feel like Shadowdark in all the ways it's supposed to.
Right.
It's going to look like something that we create. Over at Ham and Egg Publishing. And that's the thing too. Like, and also like I wanted to have that like old school D&D feel to it as well, where it's like, things look gritty. Things look like, things look cool and cute, but they also look like they can kill you real bad.
Yeah. I think I really like the idea that you've taken something that, in my personal opinion, looks more cartoon or like anime style, but then you grayscaled it to make it feel that dark and gritty, which I think is a really cool differentiation to it. Because like even if you're, like I said, you're looking at this one image, the so many different gradients of light and dark in this one image that just gives that different feel than you would if you put maybe some color to the character.
Yeah.
But
Zach Luongo is just an amazing artist.
oh, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not no down for this
We've been working
at
with him
all.
for years on multiple different projects now, and that's the cool thing. We as a publisher, we're coming up on our 6th year in July. Thank you, man.
No, seriously, you hear so many publishers come out, they do one or two things, and then they vanish. You don't know where they went anymore.
Yeah.
6 years is a huge accomplishment. You should be very proud of that.
Thank you, man.
Seriously.
We work hard. We put out, I mean, it's just a 2-man operation. It's me and my lifelong creative partner, Gio Colazzo. 321 RPGs are bread and butter. That's our house creation. And by the time our rule book and Monster Gloria drops, we'll have 13 adventures in the Monster Gloria rule book for that. We put out 2 zombie brain eater titles that I created with Brian Shutter. I did a how-to book called Crowdfund Your Fucking Life, which is out as well. George did a middle grade fantasy novel called A Girl Named Doom, and that's out. And then, we started moving to third-party stuff. So I did Days of Future Fairhaven for third-party for Weird Heroes of Public Access. I did, Gio and Sally did Under the Shadow of the Noonday Witch for Sickest Witch for Justin Sorois.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's all. I mean, we're jammed up with all the projects going into layout and art, but for 6 years we put out a lot of, and we just want to keep putting out a great product, man.
Absolutely.
Keep people smiling and have fun at the table with their friends.
I mean, that's where it's at, right? Is just to keep people smiling and having fun at the table. I was looking around because I was like, I have Sickest Witch around here somewhere. But as you can tell, I'm redoing bookshelves. So I don't have that opportunity.
Sometimes there's something just so beautiful and zen about pulling it all down and kind of putting it back. Yeah, no, Sickest Witch, Justin Sorois is a dear friend. That was another system that I played it, and I was like, man, instantly.
Yeah. I have yet to actually get a chance to fully play it. I have it. I have like 3 of the expansions for it. I'm waiting for either him or somebody that I know that has played it already and has a very good handle of it before I dive into it. And it's just I think my own habit of I need to be on this side of the table for at least one of them, and then I'll jump back over. I love game mastering. I do it probably more than I probably should.
Are you the forever GM?
I normally.
Me too.
Yeah, normally. We're playing around with some ideas this year. I have some friends, especially with us getting the incredible new expanded edition for Dark Space, because it's kind of the way they built the emergent features for Dark Space.
Yeah, good.
I was like, here you go. Hand you and my friends, because we ran one strictly out of the book last night. I was like, all right, we're gonna roll the job, we're gonna roll this, we're gonna roll that, and we're gonna run. And we played, and we had such a great time. Everybody was laughing and crying, and it was so much fun. We played, and you got to think about this. This is a bunch of 30s, 40s, and 50-year-old guys and gals sitting around a table until 2:30 this morning. We're all like,
past your bedtime.
What are we doing? Everybody's like, we gotta find out what we did. We gotta finish the adventure. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
And that's great too, man. Dude, I look at it. I look at all these indie creators. We're all. I mean, essentially, with all the DIY stuff that we have to do, we're all just punk bands. And with the Dark Space stuff, I came out. I read through it, and I was like, it's like watching someone that you don't know in the scene, but their band puts out a really great hit, and you're like, that's a good song, man. That's great. And you're just excited for other people to experience it, because you're like, if I'm loving this, then I know someone else is gonna.
And I've seen that so much in the Shadow community that it's been incredible.
Yeah.
Good friends with Bill Harvett, who's doing all the Righteous Vow stuff. Than and Derek over there with Dark Space. Bunny and Zane with Unnatural Selections, and now Tuskara. But the cool thing is I don't know many people out there that aren't like, but they've reached out and asked for help, and I helped. It's a very open community in comparison to what you hear of some of the other communities in the space.
Yeah. I mean, I've been lucky enough to going on, I guess, 8 years with the Vintage RPG podcast, that I was able to meet and talk to a lot of people and
Yeah.
get to know a lot of people. And like, having coming up playing music when I was, young and into my older years, like I just know how hard it is for people out there. Now, it's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to like all the technology we have and things that we're able to do. But there's still a certain like barrier to entry to know how to do it. And that's why I wrote that. And I gave it away. If you're buying a physical copy, you got to pay. Tree died for that. But like as a PDF, it's free forever on Drive Thru RPG because it's every mistake I made in the first 5 years. And now you don't have to. Now you can just, it's free knowledge.
Shoot, I might have to go snag that for the first crowdfund we plan on doing this coming
year. Honestly, I've learned more since then. And if you have any questions, dude, just hit me right up, bro.
Like I said, our crowdfund's a little different because we're a production company, so our crowdfund is more to put some better products out as our productions run. We're trying to come up with a couple ideas with it, but I would definitely pick your brain sometime about that
anytime,
stuff.
brother. Anytime.
Awesome. So if anybody in the audience has any questions, please make sure you're dropping those in the chat room so we can answer those. John has been open about everything so far about what's going on over here with this new project. I'm going to ask you, would you rather us bring up some pictures, or do you just want me to jump straight to the backer kit page and we can kind of walk through this of what people are getting?
On the backer kit page. Yeah,
let's do that then. Let's bring that up. I want to make sure everybody can hear us while we're over there. So I've got this going. I want to make sure have you talk real fast, make sure that's coming through. John, if you don't mind talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, cool. Yeah, the backer kits. You know what? It's kind of where it's at, where everything is.
There we go.
I
was like it was showing up on my Twitch page for a second. I was like, that's because we're on the wrong screen. So we've got the double feature, horror adventures for Shadowdark RPG. So what is 3PP? Just so I know that, because I don't know what that
is. That's
meant.
a great question. So it's a third-party publication.
Okay, got it.
So one thing that people may or may not realize is that when companies like we're gonna open it up for 320 RPG once the rulebook drops, but you put out a system resource document, you put out you're giving people the ability to use your rule set and your system to design and make your own adventures. And Shadowdark is a really robust one, but one of the things that you have to do is you can't say it's a Shadowdark adventure, so this is designed for use with Shadowdark RPG. So it's not like we're not the arcane library. We're not but this is for use with it. And that when companies do that, and that's how Draskar is able to do what they do. It's a gift that companies give people to be able to go and make their own money, supporting this product. The covers I'm really excited about because you can see the left cover of Our Harmonious Nature. That was done by my wife, Sally. And the right cover, one of my favorite artists in the hobby, Charles Ferguson Avery. He did that cover for us for Nothing Left to Lose.
And you've got like immediately I saw you've got what looks like either kind of looks like a wall with teeth.
It's a magic mouth.
Yeah. So you've got some what could be insects going on.
Carrion crawlers, and the magic mouth is actually going to come throughout the adventure in different areas. The guy's going to be mocking you through the magic mouth. Like he's going to give you your walking instructions through the magic mouth, and the magic mouth would be like, don't get hung up right before you encounter a roper. Spoilers. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
So we're going to kind of slow down. First, congratulations. We're just going to start right here. Congratulations, you have already completely funded this.
And
that's a big deal, I think, for most publishers. One of the things I know I've talked about with other publishers is, how to figure out that number, because you want a number that's easily able to be completed within a very short period of time to help your algorithm kick off. But at the same time, you don't want to risk yourself of pushing it and then just getting over that and then being out money on your end. We don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky. Again, we've been crowdfunding now for going on 6 years. We generally fund within the first 2 days. There's definitely realistically an ebb and a flow in the hobby.
Right.
Coming off the pandemic, 20 into 21, people are just throwing money at every project.
Oh yeah.
You notice that in the few years since, not as many creators are still around. They kind of got that creation out of their system, and also money's tight for people, so you're trying to find a way to be able to fund it in a way where you're able to pay your artists what your artists deserve and are asking for. You're able to pay your cartographers, your editor, and everyone that you need to get paid, and still be able to physically manufacture the books.
Right. And I think a lot of people don't realize that it's not just a writer. Like, there's so many more people in this project that are just a writer.
Well, I'm going to tell you something that is actually, every time I've mentioned it, people look horrified. But I do freelance work for companies, and I get paid to write adventures and do things for other companies. But I've never been paid to write any adventure that I've put out. In 6 years, I've never taken a dime for myself as a writer. I always put that money back into the artists and the other things to make the books great. One day I'd like to make enough money that I can taco money. But to me, it's more important to be able to have better art and a better looking book than for me to I needed to pay myself to do something that I absolutely love most in the world. So
absolutely, and I think the cool thing with that though is that what that offers the audience and the people that are buying these books is a passion there that just can't be found when money is the requirement, right? Like that's the big difference here. Now I know for a fact if you walked on board and you had this. And not saying you haven't, or that you aren't in the future to doing so, but what we're seeing on this one, if you did create the next Shadowdark or the next Dark Space, your number goes from, we only needed 10 grand, and now we're at 500 grand. Like, things can change very quickly. But at the same time, knowing that you put so much of your passion and effort into something like this, that is just a passion project. Is extremely honorable and extremely respectable. Yeah, 100%.
Listen, we ever hit that point where we make that much money, a lot of people are going to get paid to make a lot of cool stuff.
Exactly right?
The staff gets bigger, and
everything gets bigger.
People are going to be happy.
But when you get to those points, that's when you can take a chance to take a chunk of that for yourself. Be like, oh no, we're going full time now. Like if we can do this, now we've found something.
And that's all the difference,
Right. So let's check this out. Let's talk about this. So we've got a harmonious nature, folklore horror adventure for 4 to 6 characters between levels 3 and 5. For those that have never played Shadowdark, we talked about earlier. 3 to 5 is mid-range. Normally. I wouldn't say, depending on your game master, of course, but the average character doesn't make it to 5 in Shadowdark. You might have went through 2 or 3 characters before you got to that level if you're not starting off there.
Yeah, going into this convention, I made pre-gen characters. I did it off that one. I did it off the site, and I had a thief that had the auto roll came for the Constitution. The Constitution gave him it was a -1 essentially hit point for every level, and I was like, I can't send a thief into this thing with only 8 hit points.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, thief it up.
Yeah, I'd be completely agree with you on that one. That would be brutal. And I think that's the other cool thing about third-party content is you can kind of put your boundaries and I wouldn't even call them boundaries, your bumpers into the beginning of the book to say, hey guys, maybe this is the extras you want to add to this character, because not only is this deadly because we're playing Shadowdark, but it's worse. When you talk about games, when you're talking about ideas like Saw and Murder Castle and things like that, you're like, okay, maybe we do need to crank up the health points a little bit just to help you make it feel like you actually have a chance. Or grinder it and have fun.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Your table, your way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I like I said, I want to say one of the really cool things I've loved about Shadowdark is that all the books come in a much smaller book
size. Is my favorite.
Yeah, and on top of it, but the one thing I really love about it, and I can't see this on the screen because it's just, is the font size usually is still sized enough that you're not sitting there squinting. Like it's beautiful. I love it. This is of course unnatural selection that I grabbed.
Yeah, and a lot of Shadowdark does like the double column thing.
Yeah.
I don't do that as a choice personally, but I use size 10 font, and we do it. We do it more traditionally, because for me and for people I've played with over the years, I try to make it more of a traditional novel experience.
Okay.
But that's just me, and also I'm
guessing this is a page.
Yes, that's what a page looks like. That's what generally what a page would look like in there. One of the cool things with the Shadowdark community, which I'm on the fringes of because I'm new to it, they were like, "Hey, could you give more pages?" And so there is a 9-page preview that you could see some more of it. But I wasn't necessarily ready to do. Because also I don't want to reveal too much stuff yet, and I didn't really have any art yet. So so I just that's generally how I do these books. And you can see the preview actually looks a lot more in line with.
We'll bounce back here real quick. That way I can swap over to Twitch, and we can drop that awesome thing in our channel. So for those that are hanging out, go check out the back kit preview. Like right there, you get to see exactly what a couple of pages looks like. You get an opportunity to check and see how this looks, and see if it's for you. The one thing really cool about third-party product is that 90% of it is, maybe it's not for you, and that's okay. But for those that it is for, we want to make sure they're getting their hands on it, because this is an amazing product. So for those, make sure you check those out. If you, like I said, if you have questions and I haven't answered those yet, please let me know. I'm not seeing anything popping in the chat room just yet. We're going to go back to this awesome breakdown here as we start to wrap up here in the next couple minutes. So physical additions, including hardback, softback, and zine-based, PDFs included. One of the coolest things I love about new companies is they're all including PDFs as long as you buy the product. And that so much better.
It boggles my mind that a company in 2026 wouldn't give a PDF with the book. Like what we did here was you have the ability to buy the books individually, so you don't have to buy them together. But if you did want to get them together, you could get them together, and you can get them together as a deluxe set, which you can see there's a miniature of Praster Vem, from Of a Harmonious Nature.
This guy.
So the deluxe version comes with the miniature. And if you know what, like we know things are tight for everyone. If you just want to get the PDFs, we did it special for this backer kit. You can get both PDFs for $12.
Wow. That's awesome.
And then, honestly, afterwards on Drive Thru RPG, it'd be 10 a piece. But if you're like, man, I really want to support this, but I could really just do a PDF. You get 2 PDFs, $12.
No, you can't beat it. And the zines are so cool. I'm sad that it doesn't look like the Nothing Left to Lose is going to be in hardback. I'm a hardback sucker.
I like it too. So it more than likely it's either going to be in zine or perfect bound.
Okay.
Page count. Dude, the hardbacks where everything starts getting really expensive.
And I understand completely. Like I'm most likely, I'm not gonna lie, I'm most likely gonna be off of this channel and gonna go back it myself, just because I love the artwork. Like alone, it like I said, got a brand new two bookshelves. I gotta fill these suckers. and why not fill them with amazing books from all of our friends out here in the TTRPG space.
I mean, one of the things we've definitely done though in the past has been we've gone over with what we'd imagine the page count was going to be. So if we've ever offered a zine and the page count went over, you're not only going to get more pages, you get a perfect bound, and we don't charge any. There's no extra charge, there's no extra fee. It's just like, hey, you're getting a lot more book. Like the Hotel Exorcist, when we did it, it's supposed to be a zine. And then it just hit a point where it got so big that we're like, screw it, everyone's getting a hardcover, because it takes us longer to do stuff sometimes because we're just a 2-man operation. But what you get at the end is always more than what you paid for. So,
Right.
Now we've got now we're going back through. We've got the PDF editions here for both of these. Like you said, $12. It's a steal. Like that's a steal. And it just helps helps them pay the artists, the editors, those types, and the extra writers. Like I said, the artwork here it gives me immediately when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is a grittier version of Delicious in Dungeon.
Thank you.
Like immediately what I saw out of this one.
So if you scroll down a little more,
Okay.
one thing I'm particularly I'm actually I want to show off is that you see the pins, right? That's that one. So one of the things I've been trying to, again, you're a DIY operation. You're trying to bring people into the thing that you're doing. Shadowdark, while it's to me huge and in the community huge, it's still kind of a new idea to a lot of people.
It is.
So what that is right there is it says die before you buy. And what I've offered over the next 2.5 weeks is 2 or 3 days actually 3 nights every week. You can sign up and I will run Of a Harmonious Nature for you. No strings, no obligation to buy. Just let me show you how it works. And if you do, I will mail you whichever pin you land
make
on.
it to.
Yeah, wherever your character ends, I'll mail you the pin. And again, no obligation to buy, no strings attached. But I want to try to bring that punk rock human interaction to people.
That's awesome.
Instead of just hey, nameless, faceless Kickstarter backer kit, whatever. Buy my shit, So
well, I'll tell you what. We just did the same thing with. And I'll have to talk to my team because if I say yes on this, they're going to beat me senseless. But we just did the same thing with Godzilla the RPG that just got launched by IDW. It was an incredible game. We had her come in. She ran the game for 4 of our players, and we had a blast online running that or playing in that game. So cool. The Godzilla story. Not going to break that one down on here because we're on a different report. Go check it out.
I'm running. I didn't even realize that was out yet. I'm running to check that out.
Yeah. That is so much fun.
If you guys, I'll run it for you guys.
Yeah. Let's all mention it to the team here this week, and if we can find a date before you close out, we would love to. If you're open to doing it after we close out, we would run that.
We're going to do that thing that Barricade lets you do, where they kind of let you get late pledges.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it after we close out, I'll absolutely do that as well. Whatever.
Like I said, I will talk to our team. We love one shots. It is. I'll just grab 4 of our team, or some of our very active members within the community, and we'll throw everybody in.
Sounds great.
We'll do a black and white overlay for it, make it look all crazy, and play that way. Real quick though. As we're wrapping up, one of the things I do want to do, and I'm trying to do this with every one of our special reports, is let's make a shout out to the team that put this together.
Yeah.
So yourself and Levi are the writers.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Sally. I'm going to break Cantorino.
Yeah.
Look at that. You got Sally Cantorino, Charles Ferguson Avery, Zach Giolongo, and then. And then your sculptor, JC Fairclough.
Yeah, I did the Dungeons and Degenerates molds and stuff. She's the one that Sally drew Prastergram. JC did the STL.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So, like I said, they have a team, but their team is small. And they're doing some amazing things. Like I said, 6 years of doing this is a long time.
Yeah, we're going to add more people to the team as well. That's just who we have on the bench so far.
Core tiers, and this looks like for shipping, so you're gonna add a couple bucks here and there for stuff like that.
And we try to keep shipping as low as we can. It's just
sadly international shipping is expensive.
Yeah,
sorry buddy. I buy something from Europe, it costs me an arm and leg too, so I get it. But looks like you've already had the opportunity to have some people play in it, which is awesome.
Yeah, we had Michael Putlak from Night Noon Games, Joey Royale, and the Neon Lord Brian Shutter, as well as 2 of the cast members from the D&D 20-sided Tavern.
Awesome.
That was the touring company.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I've been on some other shows, which has been great. And listen, I appreciate anyone who's willing to talk to me about it. So once this drops on, I guess you guys drop
Yeah, drop on YouTube by tomorrow.
Yeah, so then you will be right next in line there
Excellent.
of who we are as a company, me and George.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, we really appreciate you coming on and talking about this incredible adventure. I'll pop back here to the main moment here. Open up one final opportunity for anybody that's in here that's here currently. We understand that a lot of these are since they're special reports. They come out randomly and out of order from our normal shows. But if you are here automatically and you have questions, make sure you drop those in. John, it was great not just meeting you, but checking out this amazing RPG with you. Where all can they find you?
So you can find me across the internet at John McGuire RPG. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky, the Facebook, Ham and Egg Publishing on Facebook for the company. Our website, websites are kind of tricky. You're trying to get people to go to websites to do things on the website. So if you go to hamandeggpublishing.com, it just takes you to our Etsy where you can buy our books.
There you go.
And when we ship them from the house, we end up throwing in some extra goodies like some Garbage Pail Kids, some 3D glasses.
Yeah, stickers, stuff
you never
like
know when
that.
you're going to need a pair of 3D glasses.
Absolutely not.
And then also we do, when you're a first-time customer, you get a nice discount for the next time you come. And there's always discounts going on. We want to, the books aren't doing anyone any good if they're not playing them and they're taking up room in my apartment. So
yeah, no, this, like I said, this looks awesome. Like I said, I'm not gonna say for sure, but I'm most likely gonna be literally logging back in and back in this.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
The book alone, the hardback alone, got me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a sucker for hardbacks, especially when you're like, oh, it's a. Then if you would have, I'm not gonna lie, if you would have been like, but then we have a deluxe hardback, man, I've been instant.
Yeah, it's we thought about it, but we're trying to keep the prices reasonable.
Absolutely, 100%. Because the pricing is the one thing we didn't get a chance to go over. But if we're being honest, the highest one they have. And a reason I'm starting at the highest because let people understand that this is the most that they're charging is $65, and that is for the hardback, the zine, both PDF versions, and a cool miniature. What I didn't ask is how big is that miniature going to be? Are we looking mini, or is he a little bigger?
No, he's bigger. He's definitely bigger. Like.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is just a tester we made in black. Like,
think about it, it's about
I'd say so. And then
size, So
then this is, just to give you perspective, this is one of the Super 7 like little Godzilla guys that and
so he's not much smaller than that. So if we base it off of like,
I think 70 millimeters is.
So you got so if you think about it, you've got about a double.
Yeah, about double. It's 70 millimeters. Like, the average like D&D mini is like 38. So this is
36, something like that. Yeah. It's about double the size. Maybe not. I mean, if you want to throw them up on a board, it'll work, of course. But he could also just be a cool display piece on your on your wall. So. Well, like I said, this is our special report. This has been a fun adventure to walk through with you about Nothing Left to Lose and a harmonious nature. This is their backer kit over there. Please make sure you go check that out. Of course, you're going to see the links in the descriptions below as this drops off for YouTube probably tomorrow. For those, like I said, that didn't get a chance to jump in directly. Once again, it was wonderful talking with you, John. We got to get you back in the tavern so we can hear all of the stuff that's happening over here. And we'll make sure that happens later this year because we've got a bunch of stuff happening. For those that are watching this and we're listening, don't forget we have the next episode of our Power Daddies, which is our Power Rangers RPG live play tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And keep an eye on the socials as this week is packed. We've got Power Rangers, we've got Dress to Quest, our cosplay-based D&D game. We have a new Tavern Talks coming out. And there might even be something else. I can't remember it all. It's all on social media. So with that, thank you again for a wonderful special report here with John Hambone McGuire. And we'll see you guys all for the next one. Keep an eye on the socials. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Yep, we're off. Sure. I'm trying. Absolutely, yeah. I love to do if we're gonna try to do giveaways like more often. I try to help the publisher that's doing that by taking PDFs, because I know PDFs don't cost you guys anything because the book's already printed and stuff. So it's just free money for most people when they buy it from that, at that point. Yeah, no, PDFs, if you have a PDF link, you're like, hey, you can send this out, we trust you, I'm more than happy to give those away on occasion. We're trying to get a rolling group of them, so that way we aren't giving out the same one every single week. And then we're trying to pick up based on depending on the story or the show too, because like we're trying to work with Renegade right now to get some stuff for Power Rangers. Yeah, we actually might be working with IDW instead, because we're big fans. We've been working with them already, and since they have Godzilla and they have a connection with Boom, we're like, well, if we can get PDFs of like an episode of like a comic of Power Rangers and use that as our giveaway, like I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, definitely go check out the Godzilla RPG though. That thing is crazy cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it says like it says it's still available. So I'll just back it from there then, and that way, unless it yells at me and says I can't, but I'm gonna log in right now and back. Yeah, man, I spend this will be like my 7th or 8th in the last like 2 months, so I'm always back in these things because I love them. They're so much fun. Where are you gonna be? Where are you located? You said you're out of New Jersey, right? Are you going to be at any of the cons this year? Oh, nice. Dude, yeah. I've got the luxury. I do cybersecurity for a living, so it's definitely been it's a blessing because it allows me to do a lot of this stuff without having to really fight to do it. So good, yeah. So it was a scare. It wasn't actually it was a. We did training, so I do martial arts training 4 days a week usually, and we usually do it 2 to 3, but we had an international instructor in last week, and we did 4-hour training 5 days that week, which was a lot. And I didn't realize I had pulled anything, and I didn't feel anything pulled. And then Monday I woke up and I had a sharp pain in my middle lower back. And I got really nervous because I have a blood condition where I develop blood clots on occasion. So I'm on full-time blood thinners, and normally that usually means you can't do that. But when I feel that pain, I got a little scared, and I went and got it checked out, and everything came back negative. So I was happy about that, but it did mean I was sitting in the hospital for like 7.5 hours, which sucked. But yeah. But yo, like I said, I would rather sit in the hospital for 7.5 hours for somebody to tell me, no, you're not going to die, than I would waiting around here and then having something actually show up and then be in a lot of trouble. So yeah, thanks for checking on me, but yeah, it was a scare. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't anything. It could have been. Thankfully, it was not. So yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if you're going to any of the big ones like Gen Con or PAX Unplugged in Philly. Okay. Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking is depending on when this is planning on dropping, I can cut your shipping because I will be there, and you can just hand me the book. Because I have habits of most of the books I buy, I get them signed and I get them by friends because that's what I do. Okay. I think you and I actually met at PAX Unplugged last year. I think we didn't know who each of us were, but I think we did meet at PAX Unplugged last year. Because I saw your picture that Tiffany sent me, and I was like, or that you sent me after Tiffany connected you, and I was like, that man looks familiar. Like, so I was dressed in a big old wizard costume last year, so yeah. Like I said, I spend way too much money on dumb shit, but it's fine. Right now, it really is, and my kids are all involved in it, and like we run around like crazy people all the time. And then right now I have the luxury right now. I have a great job. I am a disabled veteran, so I do get some extra money from that. I did 12 years in the Air Force, and then, like I said, I developed this random blood clot bullshit and was discharged. I'm not at my 100% yet, but that's a fight I'm fighting with the lawyers right now. If that comes through, I might not be working, but that's okay because it's a nice check that will allow me not to work, and then I can do more of this stuff on a more permanent basis. So yeah. But no, if you're looking for one of the other things I do, because I do way too many things in my life, is when I'm at conventions, I run games for companies all the time. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to be at this con and I want to run this thing, you're like, I need an extra hand, I'm more than happy to do that with you. So yeah, I'm doing that in I think next weekend or this coming weekend. I'll be running games online, but I'll be helping out Erica Lowe with her Ragnarok game. So yeah, Ragnarok is, I'm having so much fun with that. We played that at GaryCon together. Erica's just a good friend too. Like, we've just developed. I was there this year too. So next year I might have to cut my cons down. Right now I'm really fighting the idea of we were trying to get more people to understand what I do in this industry, that if they want me at a con, they have to actually bring me to a con, because I have 8 this year and I'm paying for 8, and I was like, yo, I can't do this. Like, and I don't know if I'm going to Back to Page next year or not, just because there wasn't a lot that really, there were some things that came down about everybody having some problems at Page, and then I haven't heard anything back after being a special guest last year. So I was like, we might not go back. I don't know. But I have some friends that are doing Page for the first time next year too, so I was like, well, maybe I have to go back. So we'll see. Yeah, the sales floor was terrible. Yeah. Yep. Hmm. Got it. That's awesome. Absolutely. No, 100%. I do know that people are, you're running your thing and whatnot. So. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll send you over a link here in just a moment, and then you can schedule your full Tavern Talk interview here. I think we have one opening in June, and then we don't have openings until sometime in July. But whichever Wednesday works best for you is kind of how we do it. And I will drop that off here just a second. So yeah. Otherwise, have a great day, man. Absolutely. See you around. Close. Leave. Close. 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 Do that real quick. Get the